Very much. If everyone will please rise for the invocation.
Let us pray. You are the source of every good thing, O God. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hand, satisfying the desire of every living thing. With humility we give thanks for all that is, for the gifts of friends and family, life and liberty, and the work of our hands. Use the varied gifts and resources of this council and the community they represent to enrich our common life. Bless this meeting with your grace and wisdom. Amen.
Everyone please remain standing for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
On January 7th, 2013, adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2013, which has been posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, faxed to the Our Town, the Record, the Community News, and the county newspapers, and distributed to all persons, if any, requesting copies of same pursuant to said act. In case of an emergency or fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. They're immediately to my right, and the double doors at the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcast.
Roll call.
Mayor Padavano.
Here.
Council members. Maroney.
Here.
Eisenberg.
Here.
Neglio is absent. Ballerini.
Here.
Fleischman will be late. Fabre, unfortunately, I'm sad to report he's had a death in the family and he's out of town. Borough Attorney, tonight for Attorney Dario, we have Brian Eierman.
I'm here.
Borough Clerk Jean Pellegra is here, and Borough Administrator Roberta Stern is absent.
Okay, before we get to the items on the agenda, we always say have a large crowd here today because we have two special events that we can celebrate today as a community. We have two championship teams present with us today. Our Maywood 10U boys traveling soccer team won this year's Fall North Jersey Soccer League Championship, and we are very proud to have them here with us today. It's my understanding that their record this year was 7 wins and 1 loss and 1 tie. That you led the league this year with the fewest goals given up, and in total of, I guess, 9 games, scored 33 goals yourselves. This is a great accomplishment, and each player, from what coaches tell us, each player did a phenomenal job throughout the season, and especially in the championship game, and we congratulate all of you, and especially like to thank your coaches and everyone who helps out with the league. Mike Colmos, Sheldon Neal, Carlos Leston, the coaches who did great job this year with the team, but especially the team players. Tyler McQuaid, Larry Perry, Jimmy Shea, Alexander Defina, Brian Messer, Spencer Neal, Luca Duardo, Matt Lugo, Kevin Reiner, Keith Wild, Jake Colmos, Nicholas Leston, Emmanuel Diaz, Christopher McAuliffe, Angela Lombardi, Nicholas DeMeo, and Christian Newell. On behalf of the Borough of Maywood, this is one of the great things that we get to do as council people and as the mayor. We congratulate you for representing the Borough of Maywood and for your victory this year. I'm going to ask that the team come up and the coaches come up and all the members of the council come down, and we'll present your team the certificate of recognition. And we have another championship team here for Maywood tonight. The Maywood 11U Fall Baseball Team competed in this year's Professional Baseball Institute Fall Baseball League. And the team had a record of 6-2, I believe was the record this year in the regular season. They made it to the playoffs and immediately, I guess, knocked off Paramus, which was the first round. Good job. And then in the championship game, they knocked off the undefeated North Jersey Thunder club team. And I guess what turned out to be a 6-2 victory over that team. So well done. Well done. We are very, very proud of our baseball fall ball team, as we were the soccer team tonight, and we certainly, again, appreciate the effort of all the coaches and parents who are involved in this league. And the coaches this year were Mike Jordan, Mike Colmos, Keith Yaley, Corey Newell, and Dave McAuliffe. We thank you for your leadership of the boys, and congratulate the team members: Timmy Soletti, Ryan Jordan, Dale Yaley, Josh Sloan, Dylan McQuaid, Robert Watson, Alan Compras, Mike Gillen, Joe Stewart, Alex Newell, Jake Rodriguez, and Jake Colmos. You've done our town very proud, and we are extremely, extremely proud of everything that you've done, and congratulations on your victory. The team up with your coaches, and the council members again join me for this presentation of the certificate. He's not over. Everyone is welcome to stay.
Thank you.
Agenda's ready. We got bills to pay. No?
There's 2 O's in Maywood, right? See. Yeah, where'd you go? Did you go to the game? Yeah, a little bit of a nail biter, to say the least. Under the grilling.
All right. We're ready to continue the meeting, and at this time, we'd like to welcome the Maywood Avenue students who are present with us tonight. This is always a very fun evening. Usually some of the toughest questions that we face as mayor and council come from this evening. So welcome to everyone who is here, and at this time, we can open it up for questions for anybody from Maywood Avenue School who wishes to ask any questions. Just come up to the microphone and state your name and ask your question.
This work? Oh, here. Good evening to all the councilmen. My name is Andrew. I just wonder why there are unfinished sidewalks.
Unfinished sidewalks. Well, there are some sidewalks that are getting redone as we speak. Some along Spring Valley Road are getting redone. East Hunter Avenue getting redone. A lot of times if a tree comes down, a borough tree, and breaks a sidewalk or something like that, the town does replace it. Usually, quite frankly, everybody's kind of responsible for their own sidewalk in front of their house. But if a town tree does break one, or if the town's doing paving jobs, they usually try to replace as many as we can. There's a lot of miles of sidewalks in town, so we keep trying, you know. If you know of a broken one, let us know, though. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, come on. Come on up. Come on up to the microphone. Yeah, right. A little low, sorry.
Hello, I'm John, and I'm wondering, it's been months now that the water fountains in Memorial School, in the Memorial Park, have not been fixed. Is there a plan to fix them soon?
There is, actually. The council, a few months ago, passed a big bond where we're putting aside some money to do a lot of improvements to Memorial Park and the other parks in town. And part of those improvements are to replace all of the water fountains in the area because, quite frankly, all of them seem not to be working in the best condition. They're very old, and they'll be replaced hopefully in the spring. They'll be all brand-new water fountains, and even at the town pool, the water fountains are getting replaced there as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Peter Batista, and I was looking on the Maywood Borough website, and I went to the borough codes. Chapter 218, Section 2 states nobody can code.
Wait a second. Go ahead.
nobody can, quote, obstruct free passage of pedestrians or vehicles, end quote. But sometimes I see a large group of kids late at night hanging on the curb of Pleasant Ave. It's probably because Maywood doesn't have any kind of recreation center for teenagers. Even though these teenagers are in violation of the Borough Code, it's not fair for them to get penalties. What do you propose we do to resolve this situation?
Well, that's a good question, and that's a question I think that everybody on this council has looked at for many years. One of the things that we're hoping to do very soon is install a movie projector at the senior center or the rec center down by the swim pool there, and hope to host movie nights for some of the Maywood teens to use that as an entertainment facility. But I know that a lot of people on this council have given a lot of thought on what to do for the teenagers in Maywood, and if anybody wants to chime in on anything. But I know that's one of the things we're trying to put together is the movie nights so that we can use the rec center a little more than it's been used in the past, and open it up for teens, because I know in the past they used to have teen nights.
There used to be some teen nights, they had band nights, we used to have an after-school program to relieve the tension in the library after school, and all these programs need to be relooked at and opened up again. We need to kind of expand what we're already doing and what we need to do more further, especially at the senior center. It's virtually unused quite often, so that's something to take a look at.
Yeah, but thanks for bringing it up again. It's a very important issue. Thanks. Got his question.
Hello, I'm Julian.
Hello.
And I have a question for you. Is it possible to have activities that teens would enjoy, like kind of like a senior center, and twice a month you can like plan night activities?
Well, I guess it's a common theme that we're going to address tonight, but going along with the prior question, we're going to try to open up that senior center more for recreation purposes at night and on the evenings, so that it can be used for teenagers and Maywood children more than it's being used tonight in its current form. So we'll keep plugging away on it, because it is a very important issue, and we don't want people to have to sit on Pleasant Avenue and kill time there when they could be doing a lot of other fun things in town. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hi, my name's Angelina, and I live on Grant Avenue, and I was wondering if the trees that were recently cut down on my block were going to be replaced.
I defer to the shade tree liaison.
The tree planting for this year has already been completed. I'm sure by the first of the year, the Shade Tree Commission and Mr. George Trapp, they'll be assembling a list for next year's locations. The trees that come down now are ones that are a hazard, may cause a problem in a winter storm. So right now, some of the trees coming down are preventative, so they don't cause damage, knock wires down, fall on cars or houses. So at the beginning of the year, or probably even at the meeting later this year, the Shade Tree Commission, they'll identify how many trees for next year, what locations, what type, what size, that has just been completed for this year. The trees are done. So we'll make sure Grant Avenue's on the list.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Maria Lisa, and having like lowering property taxes in mind, I wanted to ask what the town is trying to do to entice or attract businesses.
Well, it's very interesting. We are trying to bring in new businesses all the time. On Pleasant Avenue, I'm proud to say I think there's only 2 stores open anymore. There's only 2 vacancies left. One at the old Hillman's, and I think there's a dentist's office that may be occupied soon by another dentist. But we always keep to try bringing in new business, and there's certainly a big stretch of Route 17 that Maywood has part of, and now there's a couple of open spots there next to the gas station. We have the new health and wellness center coming in. It used to be the Velocity 17 go-kart place. There's a new health and wellness center coming in there. And behind it, if everybody's familiar with that big warehouse that's back there, the Sears warehouse, that will be turning over relatively soon, probably within the next couple of years. And we're trying to bring in new businesses into that piece of property because it's a very large piece of property, and hopefully that'll generate a lot of taxes from commercial businesses, and that's what we're always trying to do. And one thing that we're working on very hard right now is to do the streetscapes. You know how they have the light poles on Pleasant Avenue and the curbing and sidewalks down by the train tracks where there are certain commercial properties down there. The Session restaurant is down there and some others. And we're trying to do that type of lighting and curbing to hopefully entice some new businesses in that area as well. But we're always looking to do that to try to offset some of the taxes from the residential people.
Okay,
Thank
you.
Repeat customer.
I'm Andrew. I'm curious why the wall was taken down at the Memorial Park.
The wall came down at Memorial Park because, quite frankly, the wall was about to come down on its own at Memorial Park, so we wanted to make sure that it came down in a safe way. Thanks. One handle player.
Hello, I'm Reese Costasio. Sometimes when I'm walking home or walking to a friend's house, I see on roads there are like potholes. I'm wondering if there's like plans to restore like the roads. Like, for example, my friend was on Spring Valley.
There are. Right now, Spring Valley Road, a piece of Spring Valley Road by the park is getting paved. And then there's another street, East Hunter, down past the train tracks that's going to get paved. The town tries to pave streets on an annual basis. Unfortunately, costs a lot of money to pave an entire street. But I know the DPW goes out almost on a daily basis looking for potholes, and they fill potholes just, piece by piece. Just by way of expenses, I guess, to let you know how much streets cost to pave, that street down on East Hunter, down by the train tracks there that goes towards the DPW, that project just in front of the houses is $400,000. So it's a lot of money to pave an entire street. But I know the DPW works very hard to respond to when there's potholes and try to patch them so they don't get bigger and bigger. But we'll keep. Thank you.
Sorry.
My name is Jared Krugel, and I live off of Spring Valley, and up the road from my house, there was construction being done on a sidewalk, and I was thinking about how the people that live nearby the construction had to wake up in the morning to construction being done from their house. I was thinking about, since the school has something set, reverse 911, set to call people when an emergency or something happens, why doesn't the town council have something set up for, when construction happens, to tell the people around the construction that's going to happen?
That's a good idea. We actually do tell when there's paving going on and major construction, everybody who lives there usually gets a written notice saying that we're going to be paving your street or we're going to be doing this and that. I know certain other towns, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Nixle program that the police department uses to advise of weather incidents. But I know other towns use it a lot to say that this road is being closed because of paving, and perhaps Maywood will start using that ability to email people a little more frequently. But when there is construction done in front of somebody's house, usually there is a notice that goes out to those people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anton Kiriako, and I noticed on Poplar during Hurricane Sandy some trees fell down and hit some electrical wires. And who fixes the damage, PSE&G, or the town gives money to them?
If the wires are damaged, PSE&G fixes them. And if a tree is laying on a wire, the PSE&G will hire somebody to cut the tree off. Usually our DPW guys don't touch the trees when they're touching the wires. Public Service doesn't want us to do that anyway because of safety, obviously. But usually when a tree hits a telephone pole or wires, Public Service will come and get rid of it for us.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is George, and after school, there's always a lot of traffic at Maywood Avenue in the parking lot, and I was wondering why you can't park in the back of the parking lot, back of the library.
Did Mr. Jordan put you up to this? There is a lot of, quite frankly, there is a lot of traffic behind the library also after school. A lot of people do use the library as a pickup area. It's a very difficult situation at Maywood Avenue School, and it's a difficult situation at Memorial School as well with the pickups and the drop-offs, because everybody comes at once and they all leave at once. We're trying to work through it. I know the council this year did some things down with the assistance of the school board, did some things down by Memorial School to help with the traffic flow a little bit. And, we're constantly trying to work with the school and try to make that as smooth of an issue as possible. But it's really tough because Maywood Avenue School is on a busy street to begin with. And like I said, everybody comes at one time and wants to leave at the same time. If you'd notice, the crosswalk may be moving a little closer to the library if and when the county ever paves Maywood Avenue. So the hope is to kind of make it a little easier for people to cross the street and get to the library. But we'll keep working with the school board, and and then council keeps looking at those issues on how to make it flow a little better. But yeah, we'll keep working on it. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Melissa, and I was wondering, how would I know what's going on in Maywood if the minutes on the website haven't been updated since October 23rd, 2012?
I defer to the borough clerk on that one.
Well, we're currently working on our new website, which will be more updated. Our current website person has it's a little bit more involved on whatever her husband used to do it. He no longer does it, and she doesn't know how to do it. So,
the point of it is we are getting a new website, which hopefully will be launching within a month. I know that everybody, department heads will be getting trained next month on the new website, and it'll be much easier to have the borough clerk and anybody else who works for the borough put things onto the website themselves. So you're right, they should be up there.
They've been sent, they're just not posted.
They're around. If you want to go upstairs and flip through a book, I'm sure the
Anytime.
clerk will be happy to entertain you on that.
Absolutely make them available if you'd like to come in and review them.
Well, we're going to try to get that website launched very soon and make it much more interactive than the current website is, and much easier to be updated, so people have more information. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Haley, and I was wondering, I've seen many trees that are old and their branches fall when there's a lot of wind. And I was wondering if we could have someone go around and trim the trees, so if there's another large storm, like I know there's one coming this weekend, that it wouldn't damage and be a hazard for anyone that's walking.
I'm going to defer again to the shade tree.
As far as the trees in town, the DPW superintendent, his assistant, and Mr. Trapp, they constantly monitor the trees. They always look for low-lying branches, damaged trees, diseased trees. Anything that's a hazard is taken care of right away. Any tree that is grown through the wires, as was one of the earlier questions, public service has either themselves or their crew removes the limbs from the high-tension wires, and then the DPW can do the rest. Any branches that fall down on a daily basis, they're patrolling the borough, picking up loose branches or hanging branches. That's done on a regular basis. A lot of trees that are in the PSE&G right-of-way underneath the wires, they have a 4-year or 5-year plan. They have a vegetation plan, they call it, where they go around and they inspect their lines and they trim the trees that are a hazard. There was just one done on Spring Valley Road where they're doing the new construction. There was a tree that had many limbs falling off it, even without a storm. And it was around a transformer and some power lines. We contacted the administrator, who contacted PSE&G. It took about 3 to 4 weeks, but they did send a crew out, and they did prune the tree. Now, the DPW will be responsible for the rest. And any other hazardous tree, they do report it. The Shade Tree Commissioner takes a look at it, and they determine whether it's a healthy tree or it needs to be removed. There are some trees in town that are too big for our crew to take down, and therefore we hire an outside firm to do that. But for the most part, the trees are patrolled on a regular basis. They do look for that on a regular basis because of the potential hazard to everyone, whether walking by, houses, cars, whatever. So they do check it on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a couple more questions.
Hi, my name is Adriana, and I've noticed that recycling taxes used to be paid for recycling pickup to be done twice a week, and now pickup has been reduced to once a week instead. If this is true, why is it that the amount for taxes stays the same?
I'm going to defer to the Shade Tree Commission. Well, you know, you're right. Years ago, they used to do twice a week pickup with the recycling, or every week you'd get your cans out, and now we do every other week. Unfortunately, expenses keep going up on everything, including the paying for the recycling. Maywood no longer picks up the recycling themselves. We contract out and have a shared service with Hackensack, as you probably see their trucks picking them up. And that's all in an effort to save some money, quite frankly. Expenses keep going up for the borough just like they do at home for everybody. We pay a lot of salaries, we pay a lot of insurance, and you know, we try to keep the costs down as much as possible. And one way of doing that is by having the every other week of recycling pickup. We'll keep working on the taxes.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Christina Soma, and I noticed at Memorial Park the bathrooms are usually unsanitary, and are usually locked. Can we change that?
Yes. You're not the first person who's ever brought that to our attention, I guess. And we'll pay a little more attention to it and make sure that they get cleaned a little more often. Hopefully they're open when the park is in use a little more often. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, my name is Baltazar, and I live on East Fairmount, near the end where the dead end is, and it's by the stream. So whenever it rains and there's a big storm, basically the entire street floods. So is there any way that you can fix that, or?
Well, we can work with the county on that because it's really technically not Maywood's property, the brook itself. And Maywood, I don't think, has the authority to go in there and start cleaning it out, but we can work with the county to get it cleaned out. We often do because citizens who live in that area, Woodland and Fairmount and around there, often tell us that it needs to be cleaned out again. And you know, a lot of debris gets involved there and it gets clogged up. But we'll certainly bring it to their attention again and make sure that they keep on top of it and keep cleaning it out. Thanks.
Good evening, my name is Yasoda, and every year there are inflations in cost of living and tax raises. So to not burden the taxes on Maywoodians, what measures are you planning to take to keep the tax rates relatively low?
I'm going to defer to the council on that. Well,
I should defer to the attorney.
yeah, the attorney's going to work for free next year. In seriousness, this group of people who are up here representing the town have done a very good job in the past couple of years, working very hard on the budget and trying to save every penny that we can. Some of the things that we've done in the past are, as we've talked about, sharing a service with Hackensack for not only the recycling pickup, but the garbage pickup makes it a little cheaper for the town. We've merged our municipal court. Now we don't have a court in Maywood anymore. Everybody goes over to Paramus, and that's wound up saving a significant amount of money. And I know that everybody who's a liaison to their respective departments here works very hard with the department heads to make sure that people aren't wasting money and that we're always looking for new ways to save money, because, as I said, expenses keep going up for the borough as well, and insurance and pensions and all that kind of stuff. So we're always looking for ways to cut costs, and also, as we mentioned earlier tonight, looking for ways to bring in new businesses who can help us offset taxes by paying commercial taxes. But we're very aware of how taxes impact everybody in town, and we work very hard on that municipal budget every year to make sure that it doesn't go up too much and stays as flat as possible. Thank you. I'm getting a high sign from the superintendent over here, so maybe why don't you two guys come on up, and are you coming up for a question too? Well, you guys can be the last questions then.
Hi, that wall that used to be in the park, is that being replaced with anything like a tennis court?
It may be replaced with the tennis court. We put in for grant money for tennis courts in that area. So we may be replacing it in that area. And there's some other things that we're going to be looking at improving in the park, and maybe a pavilion of some sort or some other kind of amenities. I know that Councilman Maroney and I are going to be sitting down with some of the sporting groups in town and coaches in town and make sure that we have all the amenities that we need in the park. But something's going to go back there.
Thank you.
Do you play tennis?
Would you like to start?
Hi, my name is Mary, and I was wondering if our town was in debt, and if so, what are you doing to lower it?
Well, there are certain bonds that are out there. Every town in New Jersey is required to have a balanced budget. We can't spend more than we take in. But we do have bonds out there for projects that we take loans for. Some of those projects are improvements to the parks that we're talking about, and road paving. We take out loans. We do have bonds out there. I'm pretty sure we're getting to the end of the bond life that was used to build this building about 10 years ago. But again, you know, along with the budget, balancing the budget, we're always mindful of not making sure we don't have too much debt, because if we do have too much debt, then we can't get other loans. Banks won't lend us money, or bond companies won't issue bonds for us to get more money to do the projects that we need to do, like buy police cars and replace the water fountains in the park and make sure the lights stay on in this building, and the fire engines roll when they need to roll. So we're always conscientious about making sure we don't have too much debt. We do have some bonds out there, but it's not really that high, actually, to tell you the truth. This council and the councils previous have done a pretty good job of keeping a rein on the outstanding debt for the borough.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, getting the high sign again from the superintendent. I thank you all for coming again this year. We appreciate you coming out tonight, and have a very good Thanksgiving. Make sure you come to the tree lighting on Friday at 6 o'clock, and we'll see you around town. Thanks. Always shared high school how we would have happened. Years and years ago, I think in the 60s, they toyed around with building high school, and they decided to go to high school. So Maywood and Metro Park, we all go to Hackensack, and South Hackensack, same thing. This is something nice to have, but to tell you the truth. We are. Like I said, we went to the court this year. So we're always Yes.
What team you on? Thank you, appreciate it. It is? All right, John. See you. Good luck. Thank in November, you're doing it today? I sent you an email. Do you want me to scan that? Yeah. That's what she sent me. We don't want to be that close. Put your feet up. Oh my God. I'm on the wrong side. You might as well just go right to the meeting. I like all right, 8:15, I guess we can keep plowing ahead. You guys ready? Everybody ready? All right. Continuing on with the agenda. 8:15, public hearings on pending ordinances. We do not have any pending ordinances. We will open the meeting to the public. Anybody from the public wish to be heard? Come on forward. Come on up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. John Kopek, 764 Maywood Avenue. Mr. Mayor, I wanted to ask if we would have permission to do a little decorating. Our company would like to decorate down the end of Pleasant Avenue where the fence is, where you have the Halloween hay and the pumpkin and so forth. Wendy wants to wrap the fencing for Santa Claus coming on Friday with greenery and maybe some wreaths and make it look really presentable.
Sure, I don't think anybody has a problem with that.
No objection. That's all.
Thank you for your contribution.
Quite welcome. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Keith Gagarin, 607 Oak Avenue. First, I'd like to thank Eric when softball was in its infancy, and there was no softball. I was the president. I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for your help. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'm here about Pleasant Avenue. I think Doug is what really got me. I think it was Monday, Veterans Day. I was coming from the bakery, and the guy zipping down Pleasant Avenue, cut the corner, cut me off, and he wasn't paying attention, and almost got him. And as a matter of fact, said something about it. Then I got notice, I got driven down Pleasant Avenue. There's one speed limit sign at the top right here, but the telephone pole, the back of a no left turn sign, and it's a pole, and then there's a speed limit sign within, this much. And then I've also noticed, like, the crosswalks, you have to stop the pedestrians. A lot of times they're down. A lot of times they're mismatched all over the avenue. A couple of them are standing right in front of the island where you can't see them. So I was thinking maybe if you get the green ones that are there and some sandbags and replace them in all the turns, and the odd ones at the end of Pleasant Avenue, maybe we should put them in the middle of the avenue to keep people from speeding down. Another one, I know speed bumps, have come up, and I'm not sure, 4-way stops. Oak Avenue, Palmer Avenue, a stop by the Maywood Inn, by Spencer Joseph Way. That would stop traffic from speeding down, because I grew up in Maywood, I'm born and raised, and it was a side street. Pleasant Avenue has always been a side street to us. Maywood Avenue and Passaic Street are always the main thoroughfare, and that was the greatest thing about Maywood, was it was a side street. It's become a main thoroughfare now, because everybody's cutting down Pleasant Avenue, cut out the lights. Everybody's cutting down Oak Avenue, which is my street, Parkway, left on Oak, to cut out Maywood Avenue and Passaic Street. So this little thing now is becoming a major thoroughfare. And I don't think the town has gotten it into the thoroughfare mood of Pleasant Avenue. So that's just some things, you know, I know it's tough, and I know you want to build business, but...
No, we appreciate it. I mean, we're always looking at ways to try. I know a few years ago they tried to put up signs 15 miles an hour, and apparently we can't go lower than 25 on a public street.
Well, there is no speed limit signs.
Well, yeah,
you know,
the other side of the coin is you don't want to dirty up the avenue with a bunch of signs.
No, I understand. And also, one other thing, can you fix the clock? It makes the town look silly.
It's right twice a day, though.
Yeah. And one other thing, the little kid had something about a rec center. You know, when I was little, it was roller skating at Maywood Avenue School. Sure. And that was the greatest thing on Friday and Sunday nights. Friday night and Sunday afternoon. So, thank you very much.
Thanks for bringing that up to our attention. Thanks.
I can talk to the Board of Ed about the roller skate.
Yeah, they don't want their floors messed up anymore. Anybody else from the public?
Yeah, you know what, I did. Hi, I'm Angelo Bondi.
Hello.
Actually, bringing up what Keith said about these signs on Pleasant Avenue, the one thing is the crosswalk signs, they keep falling. They're always on the floor. Either they're too light on the bottom, and that makes a difference, because when someone's driving and sees these crosswalk signs, they'll slow down. They'll look on the left to the right. So maybe either put, I don't know, a sandbag's going to look good, or maybe get a bottom that's more heavy, or maybe bolt them to the pavement, you know, to the asphalt, so they don't tip. I mean, I've picked them up a few times. They're always down.
Yeah, I think,
you know, with the wind and everything, you get a little wind, like if you go there now, you'll see them, they're all down. So, you know, cars that are driving by, they don't know that, you know, is there a crosswalk? Maybe there isn't.
There's, you know, I'm still going to harken back to my Ocean County, Toms River crosswalks. There are crosswalks that they have in other counties that actually light up when somebody is walking through them. There's little reflector lights that run along the sides, and when you cross into the crosswalk, they automatically light those reflectors up. And I know, I guess the clerk and probably Mr. Eisenberg saw some information down at the League. I know the clerk brought some information back on those that may help, you know, because they really catch your attention. Those signs come from the manufacturer that way. And they do constantly fall.
But they need to stay up, that's the problem. How about bolting them? You can?
I don't know.
Nobody's going to hit them if they're on the side.
Well, the guys with the big plows, the winter will take them out. I don't know. You know, we'll look at that, because they do, and quite frankly, maybe you know, other towns are doing police enforcement on those, and maybe our town will set up a little police enforcement on a weekend and get everybody's attention, because it is still a side street. You know, I think the vast majority of people on that block are using it for a side street. So you're getting repeat people on that block, and maybe if they learn that you got to stop when somebody's in the crosswalk.
Absolutely.
I have the brochure.
Yeah, you have that one.
And it's pretty neat technology.
Yeah.
It's snowplow safe.
Yep.
But you do have to dig up the whole cross underneath to power them.
Yeah.
But it was very
they're pretty good the way they work, and I know they have them in Toms River right by the courthouse, and I've been down there several times, and it works. I mean, when they light up, everybody stops, you know. And that's a 4-lane road down there in that particular location. So, you know, we should look at something. Thanks. Anybody else in the public?
Georgia P. Cart, 683 Cole Street. Here in Resolution 14513, granting the Army Corps engineers the right of entry to Grant Avenue. Is there a concern there that they're going to be on Grant Avenue, or is it a routine testing that they're doing?
Well, they're going to the park, actually.
Okay.
On, I think, some issues that were there for years ago. I think there was discovered, I think, if I'm getting this correct, maybe the clerk can correct me if I'm wrong, that there was, years ago, discovered that there was a underground tank there or some kind of storage was there. They're coming back to make sure that everything is gone, from what I understand. The tank has been removed, or the barrel was removed years ago, but I think they're coming back to make sure the dirt is clear, or if it's not, to take out whatever residue dirt is there. It's a relatively small area, from what I understand.
Okay.
But it's something that's on their list. So that's all I can tell you. That's all I know, quite frankly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Closed to the public. We have the minutes for the October 8 work session and closed session, and October 22 council meeting and closed session.
Move for approval.
Second. Roll call.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Fleischman?
Yes.
Okay, presentation of bills. We have the bills and supplemental bill resolution.
Move for the approval.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Fleischman?
Yes.
Okay, we have a resignation, Hildegard Ansler, member of Shade Tree Commission, effective November 15, 2013.
Move be accepted.
Second. Roll call.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Fleischman?
Yes.
Okay, we have, I guess, 6 appointments. Mr. Singh is probationary member of Maywood Fire Department, assigned to Peerless Company. Mr. Barbarina, as a member of Maywood Fire Police, effective November 26. Ms. Kara, as a youth squad member of the First Aid Squad, effective November 26. Mr. DeLucy, as a junior fireman of the Maywood Fire Department, effective November 26. Mrs. Martinez, a part-time telecommunicator for Maywood Police Department, with a salary of $13.50 an hour, effective November 26. And Mrs. Farmasano, as a member of the Shade Tree Commission, effective November 26, filling an unexpired term through December 31, 2017. Got the motion on the appointments.
Move the appointments. Second.
Roll call.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Fleischman?
Yes.
We have council approval from Our Lady Queen of Peace Church, requesting permission for the annual bingo license and instant raffle license, effective January 9, 2014 through December 18, 2014. We have council approval, removal of Jose Agrillo from the Maywood Fire Police, effective November 26, 2013. We have the council approval, Maywood First Aid Squad and Emergency Squad permission to attend a Wellington Parade on Saturday, November 30th, 2013, from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we have a item, I don't know if everybody got a copy of this letter. Did everybody get a copy?
I put it in their boxes, yes.
Okay, there was a letter delivered today from the Senior Citizens Club of Maywood to utilize the portion of the parking lot for their trip that they're going on from December 11th to 13th. So we'll add that one on since it's coming up.
Move for the approval of...
Second.
Roll call.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Fleischman?
Yes.
Okay, we have resolutions by title.
Resolution 14213, a resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase of equipment for the police department using DEA funds. Resolution 14313, a resolution ratifying and confirming the purchase and installation of seasonal decorations. Resolution 14413, resolution opposing United Water rate increase. Resolution 14513, resolution granting the right of the right to the United States Army Corps of Engineers, a right of entry on Grant Avenue Memorial Park in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey. Resolution 14613, transfer of funds, number 1. Resolution 14713, resolution authorizing a shared service agreement between the Borough of Maywood and Borough of Hasbrook Heights for the sharing of services of the Hasbrook Heights Pistol Range. Resolution 14813, resolution authorizing the repair costs, parts, and labor for fire truck number 17. Resolution 14913, resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Maywood in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, designating a $1,984,000 bond anticipation note dated November 15, 2013, and payable November 14, 2014, as a qualified tax-exempt obligation pursuant to Section 265B3 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. Resolution 15013, authorizing the execution of an agreement with the County of Bergen for public health services for 2014.
Move for the adoption.
Second.
If I could just make a comment on 15013, that's the same agreement we have with the county for our health services, except it's actually about $6,000 cheaper than what we're paying this year. They actually reduced the rate, and I think that's because they're getting more towns involved as a shared service. And also 14313, the expenditures for the seasonal decorations, 100% of that money is coming from donations. We received a substantial donation from the Walt Products Company of Maywood this year, which is paying for all of the holiday decorations.
And can I just add that it's my understanding after we had a call with the CFO that 14913 is just a reissuance of existing debt. There is no additional debt being issued. It's just bonds that are coming due that are being reissued.
Correct. Okay, any other comments? Roll call.
Maroney?
Yes.
Eisenberg?
Yes.
Ballerini?
Yes.
Fleischman?
Yes.
Okay, we have no ordinances to introduce. We have committee reports. Mr. Maroney.
Yes. First, I'd like to apologize for missing the last meeting and having it being canceled. For everybody's time is precious, so I'd like to see that happen. I want to say congratulations to both Adrian and Tom on their victory. Looking forward to working with you, Tom. And I also would like to sadly say that Eric's given us 9 years on the council, so we sadly miss. Not sadly that you did, but sadly that it's there. In this brief amount of time being on the council, I realized how much time it really takes to dedicate your time on the council, and 9 years is a long time, so congratulations. As far as what I have to report, we had a recreation meeting, and we talked about the government for the day, and had brought up a suggestion to move it from October to November for some obvious reasons, and so we'll have some discussion about that, but I think that would be a good idea. And then I'd like to kind of try to expand on that so we can spend a little bit more time with the kids prior to the meetings if we could. I didn't know if there's logistically, it was brought up that there's a quorum, we can't meet before the meeting.
Yeah, we're not supposed to have meetings with more than 3 people. But something that we also may, along those lines, may want to think about is instead of assigning students to an individual, just assigning them to the mayor and council as a whole, so that they can interact and give them a full list of all the meetings that go on during, and if they want to go to a historical committee meeting, or if they want to go to a shade tree committee meeting, they're not pigeonholed into, well, this is, Mr. Maroney's liaison, and I'm supposed to be assigned to him, so I can only go to the rec meetings. Or maybe we just assign them as a whole to the to council, so that they can get a kind of a cross section of everything that goes on.
And we had, I thought it turned out really well. We had some good participation.
Yeah.
As far as recreation is concerned, the AC trip I heard was a great success. They had 45 people that went on the trip. Mr. Brown won a lot of money. Not paying attention.
But the IRS is.
There is a Philadelphia Flower Show that's coming up on Tuesday, March 4th. We now have 27 people confirmed. We need 50 people to be on the bus, and deposits will be accepted through December 31st. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Eisberg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to echo the comments made by Mr. Maroney, congratulating Mr. Lindenau and Mr. Fabre, and I'm sorry to see Mr. Fleischman go, but I think Mr. Maroney summed it up very eloquently, and I would just give a big ditto to that. Few things. I met with the borough administrator and now 3 telephone vendors, and I have enough now to sit down with the mayor, and it was my intention to ask Mr. Ballerini to sit in with us, but you got there as we were walking downstairs, but I extended an invite to you to perhaps give your feedback with respect to the police department and the technology. For the phones, the computers, and potential software for the building department and possibly the rest of the borough as well, to do some stuff online. And hopefully we can have a meeting in the next couple of weeks and sit down and go over all that. I attended the League of Municipalities convention last week, and that was a very good and informative meeting. While there, I needed some tax assessor's credit, so I took a tax appeal course. Some of our colleagues from Hackensack were there, and the teachers of the course gave some interesting information about tax appeals. The courts and the county boards are flooded with them. They have more than they can deal with. And in that vein, it seems that the judges are getting much tougher. Some of the things that they're doing, for example, when you do an appraisal, for any appraisal, you usually do not go inside the comparable sales because you don't have access to them. You have to rely on MLS information and property record information, and the judges now are discrediting the value of your comparables if the appraiser has not gone inside them and perhaps the assessor has. Now, in many cases, the assessor hasn't gone inside them either, and sometimes the reval company doesn't get inside them. But the temper for tax appeals, I think, is trying the courts, and they're becoming much tougher in all the towns. And hopefully, as the market improves, that there will be less of them, and the assessments will be fairer again, and towns will continue to do revals like this town did a couple of years ago to bring them in line with market. I did meet with 2 software vendors down there, one that we had already met with here, and another one recommended by the borough clerk, and I was impressed with both of them. I like the software vendor that the borough clerk recommended to come in and do a presentation for us as well. They're located right here on Route 17 in the PC Warehouse building.
No, I just said that we currently use them. I didn't recommend them.
Yes. I'm sorry.
We're
We're currently using them, but not in the department that prompted the request for new software. The building department asked for new software. In doing so, I investigated potentially putting many more departments online and doing something comprehensive that would help the building department and also give the public more access to do their business with the borough online. In doing that, the borough clerk mentioned that there's another vendor that also has a building department product amongst other products that we use currently, and so I met with them. I walked with the members of the DPW, Donnie and Roy, and looked at some equipment with them. And I saw the crosswalk flashing reflectors that were mentioned below. I just wanted to, as we're going into Thanksgiving, just make a brief statement about Thanksgiving. Every year as my family sits down for Thanksgiving, we go around the table and we each say something that we're thankful for. Usually it's something in our private lives, and as such I thought I would take a minute to say thank you for some of the people that have served in public life and made our lives better. Last week we celebrated the 150th anniversary of President Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, and we mourned the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination. President Lincoln said in his Gettysburg Address in 1863 that 87 years earlier, in 1776, the fathers of our nation were dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. He gave this speech during a war that we could have lost. 2 years later, President Lincoln prevailed as Commander-in-Chief and successfully reunified our nation and abolished slavery. While it took another 56 years for the 19th Amendment to pass so that women were equal too and could vote, and 146 more years for the first African American to be sworn in as president with Lincoln's Bible in his hand, President Lincoln was the catalyst for the notion that any one of us, white, black, male, female, of any religion or no religion at all, of any nationality or Native American, can seek and attain any office or achievement in this great land we live in. President Kennedy fought the spread of communism, established the Peace Corps, started the quest to put a man on the moon, and most importantly kept nuclear missiles from being positioned 90 miles off our shores. While Vietnam did not turn out as well as he had hoped, 26 years after President Kennedy's historic speech at the Berlin Wall, communist East Germany reunified with West Germany as a democratic nation, and the Berlin Wall fell. Just 6 years after President Kennedy's death, Neil Armstrong took one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. And for the goodness of God and the efforts of President Kennedy, this nation has never again endured the threat of a nuclear attack from weapons stationed so close to our borders. If there was no President Lincoln or no President Kennedy, I surmise there would still be a Maywood, but it would be a very different Maywood than any of us know. So for Thanksgiving, I would like to say to Presidents Lincoln and Kennedy, I would like to say thanks to Presidents Lincoln and Kennedy for allowing Maywood to be the Maywood we all know and love.
Thank you. Mr. Ballerini.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As everyone knows, there was a shooting at the Garden State Plaza on November 4th. I got a report from the chief. I can share with anybody who'd like to see the full detailed report, but I wanted to summarize it for you tonight, the response from Maywood. 3 officers who were on duty that night, Brown, Masu, and Malacca, responded to the scene immediately. The chief joined shortly thereafter. Lieutenant Natal, Sergeant Gillies, and Officer Donatello reported to headquarters to provide town coverage, and Officer Fair was called in and reported to assist in the coordinated response. The Bergen County Rapid Deployment Force, which this council authorized the Maywood Police Department to participate in, was activated, bringing Officer Perotti to the scene as well. The Maywood EMS also responded to the scene. It turns out the actor involved was actually arrested in Maywood in 2012, which led to a flurry of activity at the telecommunicators desk. To summarize, the chief reported that the response went according to the plan developed by the county police. Maywood officers were properly trained and equipped to assist as the events unfolded. So a big thank you to the officers that were here and responded, to the officers that responded to the need for coverage of the town, and the good work that they did that night. Also, back in October, on the 24th, we had a major drug arrest. It was in the news. 3 people were arrested, 8 pounds of marijuana and $26,000 in cash were seized. I bring this up because I've asked the chief to go back to the drawing board on the K-9 program that he was here to present at the end of last year. The officer who was going to lead that program, as everyone knows, was injured, which really put a damper on the activity there. But I think it's clear that we need to step up the programs in this town to make sure that these kinds of incidents become fewer and fewer. There's no doubt in my mind a canine program, a very visible canine program, would act as a major deterrent to the folks. These arrests are a big deal. They're in the news. You know, the people who are operating in these circles don't want to do business in Maywood, and we want to make sure we give them more reasons to stay away. On the planning board side, we had an application from the new HUMC building on Route 17. There was an application for an electronic sign as part of a sign application with minor variances. I have some sample ordinances. It may make sense for us to look at those. It may also make sense to leave those decisions to the planning board on a case-by-case basis. But either way, happy to share those at the next work session. From the Board of Education, on Veterans Day, the 11th, the Maywood Avenue School hosted an event honoring Maywood's living heroes. It was an excellent event. Former Council President Jack Savage was the master of ceremonies and did an admirable job. The kids there were very excited to meet more than 30 living veterans of past military conflicts. They were also introduced to a fundraising program to assist families of returning servicemen and women. As we all know, the Maywood Avenue School Student Council sponsored a student leaf raking program. That was on the 16th. More than 60 students turned out to volunteer to help residents unable to rake their own lawns. I would be remiss if I didn't also congratulate Mr. Lindenau. Thank you for stepping up to do this. As Mr. Maroney points out, it's a commitment. It's a volunteer commitment. And if it wasn't for guys like you, you know, we'd be in dire straits. So thank you for stepping up. Congratulations, well deserved. I will also share the bittersweet goodbye with Councilman Fleischman. I think he's done an admirable job as councilman. He's been a good friend and someone that I've learned a lot from. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fleischman.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. A few brief things. A lot of my report was conducted answering questions from students tonight, which is great. This is the one night of the year that's one of the best meetings that we have. And the kids are always well prepared, and they do a great job. And you'd be surprised, you get a lot of good ideas out of it. I want to welcome Ms. Formazano to the Shade Tree Committee. I'm sure you'll be welcomed with open arms. There's a lot of work to do there, so are you a tree hugger? Okay. Hopefully you do as good a job with the trees as you do with the tomatoes this past summer. That'd be great. As far as the trees go, the tree planting has been completed for this year, as we stated earlier. There have been some rumblings and articles related to, you know, quality, style, type, and location. And I just want to assure everyone that the Shade Tree Committee does a tremendous job in selecting the trees. The growers, they go out to bid with 3 or 4 different growers, and the grower that was selected again this year is a very reputable grower. They've supplied us with many trees over the years, and with very little recourse or damage to the trees. I don't think we've lost a single tree from that grower over the years. I could be mistaken, but I don't believe so. And they do a great job of locating and selecting where they go and the type. We spent a lot of time this past winter. We've been to seminars conducted by PSE&G as far as what type of tree, where they should go, and why, to prevent the disasters that we've had in our from the storms. And again, just hats off to George and the rest of the crew. They do a great job with the trees. Also, DPW related, we are ready for bad weather. Equipment is being repaired and been repaired and ready to be assembled on the vehicles. As far as being thankful, I'm thankful that tomorrow is going to be mostly a rain event. I think everybody is, so that's a plus there. I too would like to congratulate Mr. Fabre and Mr. Lindenau. Tom, I know you for a long time. I think you'll do an excellent job. And I also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney Designee. I'm done report. Madam Clerk.
I do want to remind everybody that Mr. Cavelli from PIA will be at the meeting of December 10th to give his annual report. And, well, the meeting, the second meeting of the month for December, which is normally which was originally scheduled for the 17th, will be, instead of Tuesday, will be held on the 19th, Thursday. So, and we will, of course, advertise that accordingly. And, of course, congratulations, Mr. Lindenau, Adrian, is not here with us, and Eric. It's been a pleasure working with you. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. That's all I have.
Thank you. A few announcements. Obviously, Borough Hall is closed Thursday and Friday for the holiday. I believe the Borough offices will be closing at 3 tomorrow. So we'll be closing a little early. The Borough Administrator is not here, but she's indicated that she's still working with an architect to get quotes for a new design for the new bathrooms at the swim pool, which will hopefully be ready for next year's season. As I indicated earlier, the website, there'll be a new website finally coming to the Borough. The company is doing training for all department heads the first or second week of December. The goal of the new website, obviously, is that all the department heads will be able to type in almost a Word format their updates immediately to the website, and they'll be screened. They'll wait until the administrator or the clerk authorizes their publication on the website, but those department heads will be able to directly input information to the site so that there's a little more quickness to the updating and a little more interaction maybe with the public. There was a fire on Coles Avenue on November 16th, the corner of Coles and Woodland. And I want to thank the Maywood Fire Department for a great job of putting the fire out and containing it. It was a situation, quite frankly, where there was a lot of material in the house. The house was being worked on, and it could have really turned into a complete loss. But the fire department did a very good job of putting the fire out quickly with some help from Hackensack, and I believe Saddlebrook and Rochelle Park were also present. Also like to thank the ambulance corps, volunteer ambulance corps who was there. One of the residents had to be treated and was taken to the hospital. And I thank the ambulance corps for their great work, and the fire police for everything that they did helping with the scene that night. I'd like to particularly thank Deputy Chief Chris Tuttle, who actually went into the building first and was able to extract one of the residents who was probably a few minutes away from having some real difficulty in that fire. So congratulations and thank you to Deputy Chief Tuttle, who really rescued this individual from the house. So we appreciate everything that our volunteers do for this town, and this is a great example on some of the good work that they do. Again, as I mentioned earlier with the resolution, the holiday decorations were put up today. Most of them were put up on Pleasant Avenue through a really wonderful donation that was made by the Malt Products Company, who's paid for all of the decorations on Pleasant Avenue, the new decorations on Pleasant Avenue. We thank Billy Jelinski again for helping out with the lights. And we certainly thank John's Landscaping, who's going to help us out with some more of the decorations. The tree lighting ceremony will be at 6 o'clock on Friday. There will be horse-drawn carriage rides going up and down Pleasant Avenue that night as well, between 5:30 and 8. The Chamber of Commerce is again sponsoring the Welcome for Santa Claus, who will be in the bank parking lot, and there'll be candy canes and treats for the kids, and it should be a very fun night. Santa will come right after the tree lighting, and there'll be caroling throughout December 6th. Memorial School Choir will be at the bank parking lot on Pleasant Avenue. December 13th, the Maywood Girl Scouts will be there, and they'll be collecting also for a local food pantry on that night. And on December 20th, the Maywood Avenue School Choir will be caroling in the bank parking lot. And I want to thank everybody who makes that possible, including the Maywood Chamber of Commerce, Malt Products, Freedom Bank, who's donated, and Community Bank, who's also donated to this year's ceremony. It should be a good family event. We have a menorah downstairs that'll be lit for the first night, I guess, Wednesday night, tomorrow night. And the tree that's also down in the lobby this year, the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts are providing the decorations for the tree downstairs. So we're looking forward to those events. Saturday is, we all know Black Friday, but Saturday is Shop Local Day. And that is a kind of a small chamber of commerce, local chamber of commerces have gotten together and designated Saturday as a Shop Local Day. And I encourage everybody to make sure that you shop locally in the restaurants and the stores along Pleasant Avenue and Essex Street and Maywood Avenue and Spring Valley Avenue and Road, and support the local businesses in town, because they certainly help us a lot. There is a pancake breakfast that the Maywood Fire Police are sponsoring on Sunday, December 8th at 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Maywood Avenue School. There's more information on the Borough website. The flyer is on the Borough website. I think tickets are available at Moondoggies, or you can contact, if you run into one of the fire police people, you can get tickets through them. But the flyer is actually posted on the Borough website as well. So that's a good thing. They're also collecting non-perishable items to be donated to Helping Hands Food Rescue Mission on that day. So it's a good event to support the fire police with. I guess our RFQs, it's that time of year for the clerk to put out the RFQs, again, which will be returnable, I guess, late December or December 20th.
The 20th.
20th. For the Borough Attorney, Labor Counsel, Engineer, Auditor, Bond Counsel, Risk Management, and Insurance Broker, as we've done in the past. And those are for the 2014 appointments. I'd also like to thank the Shade Tree for their work on planting the trees. I know there was as Mr. Fleischman indicated, a little criticism recently of the Shade Tree, but I know that they do a great job on getting the trees together, making sure that they are quality trees, and making sure that they are trees that are not going to grow into the wires or lift too many sidewalks with their roots. The Shade Tree does a great job, and the DPW does a great job working on those trees, and I know that they finished them all for this season, and they look good, and they're all straight so far. So that's a plus. The paving is going on in Spring Valley. You've probably seen the curbing going in, the sidewalks going in. I'm hoping that the weather warms up a little bit and we keep paving before the end of the year, but that may be, we may run into next spring with the continuation of that job, East Hunter and the Fairmont parking lot. But we'll see what the weather does. As I indicated last time, I congratulated Mr. Cabray and Mr. Lindenau on their victory, but I didn't get a chance. Mr. Fleischman wasn't here to thank him for his service. I don't think there's anybody who ever sits at this dais who doesn't understand the massive amount of work that is involved in doing this job. No matter what kind of effort you put into it, it is a large amount of work, and it's a large amount of responsibility. There are 9,666 people in this town who at any given day want to blame you for their garbage can being left in the middle of the street, and want to question you as to why the taxes are what they are and why didn't you make them better. And it's never for a want of trying, and I know, from working with Mr. Fleischman over the years as planning board attorney for many years and now as mayor, I know that there are a few people in this town who've put more of an effort into being members of council and watching every penny and watching every bill that goes out and working very hard on the budget every year. And you've done a very admirable job in 9 years, and God bless you for doing it for 9 years. But we thank you very much for all of your time. Personally, over the last couple of years, you've been an extremely big help and sounding board for me on a lot of issues. And I appreciate everything that you've done for me personally, and more importantly, everything you've done for the people of this town, and I'm sure will continue to do in the future. Thank you very much for your service. I don't think there's anything closed. I just want to say, picking up on Mr. Eisenberg's love fest with Abraham Lincoln is near and dear to my heart. A president that is near and dear to my heart. 150 years ago, established that the last Thursday of November would be a day of thanksgiving and praise. And we should all take a moment on Thursday to be thankful for all the things that we do have in our lives, and whether it be our health and our family and our friends, or certainly the people that we get to work with, or the wonderful community that we get to live in, to remember to use that day before we all get geared up for the big shopping holidays and all that fun stuff, to take a moment and say thanks. So, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. We are adjourned.